Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me for WLBT Plus. My name is Kara Shirley. I'm your digital news desk host, and it is Wednesday, the 2nd of April. Primary election day was yesterday, and it was a very busy day around our area. Lots of elections taking place, lots of major elections taking place. Even though it was just the primaries, we know that in Flowood and in Brandon that mayors were decided yesterday, but even in the primary election. So we're going to get to all of your election coverage. We're going to talk about the numbers and the votes that came in, but we do have some breaking news that was just released just very shortly ago regarding a post that was made by Mayor Lumumba on the City of Jackson's Facebook page. We're going to go ahead and jump into that, give you guys the information on that. And actually, let me pull up the post and the video that is in question here for you guys, so you will be able to see it. So there we go. This Facebook post that was made last night after the results came in when we found out that Mayor Lumumba was going to be going into a runoff election that he did not win in the primaries. So the decision to post this campaign speech on Jackson's official social media page on Tuesday, this could lead to an investigation into whether or not his campaign violated state statute. So on Wednesday, the Mississippi Secretary of State's office confirmed with WLBT that it is asking Attorney General Lynn Fitch to look into whether he violated statute by allowing the campaign video to be posted on the City of Jackson's government Facebook page. So the statement that we received from them said directing, requesting, or permitting an employee to render any aid to a candidate while the employee receives a salary or is being paid is a violation of 23-15-871. This was from Secretary Watson's office. As they say, because this video was distributed via the city's official Facebook page, they have sent it to the Attorney General's office as a potential violation. So the code section referenced by the Secretary of State says that no employee may be requested, directed, or permitted to canvass for or against any candidate or render any other services for or against any candidate or group of candidates during any of the hours which the salary of the employee as an employee being paid. So you can read all of this on our website, WLBT.com. Essentially, anyone convicted of violating the code section can face up to a year in county jail and a fine of up to $3,000. So we don't know who filmed the video. That is not clear. We don't know whether or not the person filming or posting it was actually a city employee, or whether the mayor even knew that it was being posted on the city's page. According to the video's metadata, Lumumba went live at 10 p.m., which was again shortly after the unofficial results were in following the Democratic primary. So he came in, of course, second to Senator John Horn in the primary. We're going to get to those specific numbers in just a little bit. And he spoke during this essentially campaign speech for about 6 minutes. So as of noon today, the post was still on the Facebook page. It had nearly 250 comments, several people questioning whether or not that should actually have been posted on the City of Jackson's government official Facebook page versus being posted on his campaign Facebook page. So there was a comment made, said this should have been posted to your campaign page, not the City of Jackson's government page. And that was by Corinthian Sanders, who is a candidate for Ward 7. Then Tracy DeVries, and I'm probably pronouncing the last name wrong. I apologize. So another comment echoed that sentiment, saying, hey, city of Jackson, you're the city, not this person's campaign. So maybe let him run his own speech on his own page. So Tom Head also questioned the mayor, saying, is it not appropriate to post campaign materials on an official government page? So we did reach out to Jackson's Director of Communications, Melissa Faith Payne, for a statement. At this time, she has not yet responded. Of course, we will add her statement when she does respond to the story. And again, you can read the full story on our Facebook page. I'm sorry, on our website, wlbt.com. So was this wrong? Was it not? We will continue to follow it, and we will let you know what the results are, if it is something that is going to be investigated by the Attorney General's office, if this was actually a violation of campaign rules, so to speak. So we'll let you know. We'll keep you updated on it. So stay tuned here to WLBT. We can get you all of that information. Well, now let's go ahead and jump into the results of last night's or yesterday's primaries. I say last night because we were here late last night getting all the numbers in. But the seat for Jackson's top position is headed to a runoff. So what we have is, I'm at the wrong one. Here we go. For the mayor's position, Senator John Horn received 48% of the vote. Incumbent Chokwe Antar Lumumba received 17%. More than 7,700 votes separated the two. Tim Henderson did get 13%, and Delano Funches received 8%. So, of course, this is one of the biggest races that everybody is watching. There was 19 people on the Democratic primary for Jackson mayor, a very crowded primary. So, according to the unofficial results, Lumumba came in second, a very distant second, to State Senator John Horn. A lot of people would ask, well, if there was so much of a distance, if there was so much a gap in the amount of votes, and again, I will pull that back up for you. You can see John Horn received 48%, Mayor Lumumba received 17%, Tim Henderson, 14%, and Delano received 8%. Well, the reason why we can't say that John Horn is the winner of the primary, even though he did receive such a large percentage of the vote, is because according to state law, they have to receive 50% plus one in order to win any election. So 50% of the vote plus one more vote. And as long as they have that margin, then they are declared the winner in that race. So because there was no clear winner, because no one received 50% plus one in those elections, that will go to a runoff. So as we just told you, Mayor Lumumba did come and speak after the results were in, and here is some of what he had to say.
When there's an inability to even raise funds, I never even told you that, right? I have not directly asked anybody for a donation to my campaign. And so if this campaign looks a little different, that's the reason why, right? Because we can't do that, right? Or I can't do that because of what's going on. When they tell people, Republicans, to vote in the Democratic primary, then we shouldn't be standing here. Right? We should not be standing here. They've given every reason for us not to be standing here, and yet we still stand.
So we have not yet spoken with Senator John Horn on his reaction about the runoff. We will be speaking with him today. So who's going to be representing the Republicans? There is actually a Republican runoff that will happen based off of the primary election results. And here is what those election results are. So Kenny G received 41% of the vote. Wilford Bill received 37%. And Ponto Downing received 22%. Again, because there was not a winner of 50% plus one, there will be a runoff election in the Republican primary. And those runoff elections will happen on April the 22nd. Of course, we will be covering that and let you know what happens with that. So there are still more than 800 absentee votes that have not yet been counted, as well as an unknown number of affidavit ballots that still have to be counted. As soon as all of the votes are in, we will let you know. But it does not appear that there's enough votes out there that have not been counted that would change the percentage for the runoff election. However, if there is a change in that, we will certainly let you guys know all about that. And you can see all of the election results on our website after I give them to you here. So in Brandon, there was also a very hotly contested race for a mayor there. Two candidates were running in the Republican Party there. Here they are. Incumbent Butch Lee was running against Fred Shanks. Butch Lee did win the Republican election there, which means that he will continue to be mayor. Once they reach general election, there is nobody on the Democratic ticket for mayor of Brandon. So Butch Lee will continue to be mayor of Brandon. He won by 2,700 votes is what he received. Fred Shanks received 1,300 votes. And so we did get to speak with Butch Lee last night. Here's what he had to say.
We got some big things that are about to hit the ground, and we got to take care of some more water and sewer things. Those things that are uncomfortable, that cost a lot of money, and people don't ever see the benefit of it. Those are the utilities that really drive the will of the board to make the changes they need to make. But I've got a board that took the bull by the horns, and we made hard decisions.
Now, this will be Butch Lee's fourth term as the mayor of Brandon. Looking here at the comment section, Jeremy Fakes is saying, well, I can't put it on the screen, Jeremy, because you put a cuss word in it. You put a cuss word in it, I'm not going to show the comment. So just so you guys know going forward. But Mark here, he said, good grief, he's going down. I believe Horn will beat him in the runoff. Well, we will certainly find that out on April the 22nd. Oscar is asking what happened. The initial story that we came to was there may possibly be an investigation into the social media post that was made on the City of Jackson's official government Facebook page regarding Lumumba's campaign and what happened after he received the results last night from the primary elections. According to the Secretary of State's office, they have turned information over to Attorney General Lynn Finch to decide or to look into whether or not there is going to be an investigation, because it was a campaign type speech that had to do with his run for mayor, and it was posted on an official City of Jackson government Facebook page. That could be an issue. It could be a violation for its code 23-15-871, which says directing, requesting, or permitting an employee to render any aid to a candidate while the employee receives a salary or is being paid is a violation. And Secretary Watson's office went on to say, because this video was distributed via the city's official Facebook page, they have sent it to the Attorney General as a potential violation. And now the Attorney General will have to decide whether or not they will investigate it. Again, like we say in the story, which you can read on our website, there is no information on who made the post. There is no information on if Mayor Lumumba knew that the post was being made on the City of Jackson's page. And we have reached out to his Melissa Faith Payne to get a statement, and we have not yet heard back from her. But as soon as we do, it will be posted in the same story here, so you can check that out on our website. Well, now let's move on to Flowood, where Flowood will be getting a new mayor. Republican primary, of course. All the primaries yesterday. There's nobody running on the Democratic ticket there. So yesterday's primary decided the mayor for Flowood, and the winner of that race is Miss Kathy Smith. She won by 71%. Greg Wilcox received 29% of the vote. So Kathy Smith has served on the the city's board of aldermen, representing Ward 2 for the last 16 years. She attributed her victory to the community. Out loud there. Apologize for that. So she attributes her victory to the community and her team of volunteers who believed in her vision for the city. Current Mayor Gary Rhodes also gave his endorsement for Kathy Smith, and she says that she is looking forward to continuing the upward growth of Flowood.
It's constantly growing. I mean, we've grown 30%, over the last few years, and it'll continue to grow. So we just have to do the best with the resources that we can. And right now, going from 8 million in reserves to 28 million reserves, you don't get much better than that. So we'll continue on that trajectory.
Keep it to a low minimum.
So the paper ballots were counted by hand at City Hall last night. Courtney Ann Jackson was there all night. More than 1,600 ballots were cast on Tuesday. Around 400 absentee ballots are included in those totals as well. And of course, Smith will not have any opposition, or opponents rather, for the general election. So she will be the new mayor of Flowood. And if we go to Canton, there is a new mayor that is going to be going into the city of Canton as well. A longtime current mayor, William Truly Jr., did not qualify for reelection. So, let's see, a runoff actually is a runoff. I apologize. A runoff is going to be happening in the city of Canton. Here we go. Here is the vote numbers for that. As I apologize for that confusion, that misspeak that I just had there. So Camilla Walker received, Camilla Walker, apologize, 48% of the vote. Tim Taylor received 39%, and Daphne Johnson Sims received 14%. So Walker received just over 1,200 votes, while Taylor received 971 votes. And we did get to speak with both of them last night.
That means that I got to work a little bit hard. I put my heart and soul in this. I've worked in this board like no other alderman ever has.
It is me that they truly believe in. This has been able to fuel my campaign and let me know that I can truly do this for the citizens of Canton, Mississippi.
The winner of the April 22nd runoff will then face Republican candidate Chip Matthews and independent candidate Walter Peebles on June the 3rd. So I remember that the independent candidates, because they are running as independent, they do not have a primary for them. So they automatically go to the general elections, which again is going to happen in June. And because no one received 50% plus one of the vote, there is no clear winner in the primary election. So the runoff for those primary elections will happen on April 22nd. And that is for every area that has a runoff. So all of those will be happening on April 22nd. So you have another chance to get out and vote on the 22nd of this month and have your voice heard. And if there was a candidate that you wanted to win that maybe it did not make it into the runoff, you have another decision to make. So get out on April 22nd and make your voice heard and cast those votes. We're going to be looking at some other political races that happened yesterday, as far as the wards here in Jackson and alderman races, as well as Gluckstadt, who had their first election on yesterday. Before we do that, though, let's hear a word from our sponsors at Jackson Water.
Time for a neighborly tip from Jackson Water. Is it okay to pour fats, oils, and greases down the drain if I run hot water? What if I run the garbage disposal? How about if I use dish soap at the same time? Instead, hang on to a few containers to store and toss old cooking fat and grease once you're done. Jackson Water. Water for all the time.
And again, thank you so much to Jackson Water for sponsoring a WLBT Plus. Looking here at the comments that we have here, O'Harris Angela said, investigate them potholes. That's pretty humorous right there. OC Tillman said, oh my goodness, Mr. Horn will be the winner. Absolutely. It really depends. You never know. I'm sure there's a lot of people that are finding it hard to believe today that the election yesterday fell in the way that it did. So the main way to decide who is going to win is to get out and cast your vote. But we'll find out for sure. Well, maybe not for sure on April 22nd. Depends on how many votes are cast and how quickly they can be counted. But hopefully we will find out on April the 22nd or shortly thereafter. So let's look at our forecast real quick before we go into the different wards here around Jackson, finding out who won in those areas. We do have some rain chances that are heavy rain that's expected this weekend, but right now we're sitting kind of muggy outside in the 80s, 88 up in Lexington. It's really warm outside, really muggy. And if we look at our radar, there are no rain chance, or there's no rain clouds, rain in the area. We're not expecting any rain today. As we look into our overnight hours, well, look, the forecast just made a liar of me. We're looking at 20% chance of rain around the 5 o'clock hour. But as we go into the overnight hours, we're going to stay relatively mild, kind of warm-ish in the upper 70s, but with a 0% chance of rain. But now let's look at our next 7 days. You can see on a Saturday and Sunday, we do have that increased chance of storms. And I believe that they are expecting some of those storms to be severe. So you want to make sure you're here at 2:30 today to hear from our First Alert weather team. They will be here to give you the details on what we can expect this weekend, what type of storms, the level of severity that they may be, and just what we can expect. If there's going to be high winds, is it going to be hail, possibility of tornadoes? They will be able to tell us that. So 2:30 today is when you want to be here to hear from them. So let's look at Jackson Ward 1 and find out how that race fell yesterday in the primary. And there was 4 candidates that were seeking the Democratic nomination. Jasmine Barnes is the unofficial winner in that race, with it receiving 63% of that vote. She advances to the general election, where she will face current councilman Ashby Foote along with Grace Green. And if we move to Ward 2 here in Jackson, it was a rematch actually from last October's special runoff election. So current councilwoman Tina Clay is seeking a full term as she faces Marcus Cheatham. Clay has more than 2,900 votes to Cheatham's 1,574, which does make her the unofficial winner for Ward 2. If we go looking at Ward 4, not looking at Ward 3 because there was not an opponent in Ward 3. In Ward 4, however, incumbent council member Brian Grizzell had one challenger, Malcolm May. Brian Grizzell will retain his seat. It received 2,297 votes, or 71% of the votes, to Malcolm May's 29%. Going to Ward 5, Vernon Hartley, the incumbent, will remain in that seat with 55% of the vote. He won over Rayhana Brown Mitchell and Charles Alexander, who received 29% and 16% respectively. And then we go to Ward 6. Several candidates were running in Ward 6 for the Democratic ticket, with a current councilman Aaron Banks not seeking re-election. He says that his decision was not linked to his part in the bribery scandal that is now waiting to go to trial with the federal government. This is likely going to be headed to a runoff with the top two vote getters. You have Amon Thompson Sr., who received 23%. Lashaya Brown Thomas received 21% of those votes. And again, remember, if you don't get 50% plus one, not 51%, but 50% of the vote plus one more vote, then you have to go to a runoff. You're not a winner in the race. So this will go to a runoff for Ward 6. And moving on to Ward 7, seat which was held by Virgie Lindsay, who is not seeking reelection. So in 2017, she won the council seat. She was reelected in 2021. However, this time there was several people actually running for Ward 7. Kevin Parkinson received the highest amount with 38%, Quentin Withers 32%, Turner Martin 10%, and Corinthian Sanders also received 10% of the vote. So it looks like that's going to be going to a runoff as well between Kevin Parkinson and Quint Withers for Ward 7. And now we go to Gluckstadt, who did have their first ever election. That was yesterday. And in Gluckstadt, the candidates on the ballot, they were all for the Republican primary at large, or for alderman at large. 6 candidates ran for this post. The top 5 are going to advance to the general election, and they will move on to the general election where Democrat Maya Warfield Bates will then join the field. So these are the 4 that are going to be going to the general election: Chip Williams, Jesse Campbell, Jace Powell, and John Taylor. I want to remind you guys, you can always go to our website at wlbt.com, and you can find all of the election results there, all of the numbers that we have received in. I know there are some areas that we have not yet gotten the numbers yet. So like Morton, we haven't received numbers. Chula, we haven't received the numbers for there. And those are the 2 that I can think off the top of my head. But you can go and see all of the election numbers that have come in, and we are constantly updating those for you with with the numbers as they come into us. Let's look at the website so you can see. Well, it's not working for me, so I'm not going to show you the website, but you can go to wlbt.com, and it's right there at the very top of the page. It says 2025 municipal election results, and you will be able to see all of those there. You'll also be able to read the entire story regarding Merritt Lumumba's social media post that could possibly prompt an investigation from the Attorney General's office, as well as other breaking news stories. That's going to be it for me today here on WLBT Plus. I'll be back tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Don't forget, runoff elections now, looking at April 22nd, 2 days after Easter. So April 22nd, the runoff elections will happen. Make sure you are prepared to get out there and vote again if you are in an area that has a runoff election. And then also make sure you're going to be here at 2:30 today for the First Alert Weather Team, so they can give you the full details on what we are looking at weather-wise for this weekend, as well as the next couple of days. I mean, we still got Thursday and Friday before we get to the weekend, right? And the rest of the day as far as that goes. Anyway, I will see you guys tomorrow. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and take care. Bye-bye.